Hey y'all, this is Cowboy713 from Fishing Crew. Today we are going to continue our knot tying tutorial, episode 3. This is a continuation of the last episode where I talked about splicing lines together. On today's episode we're going to learn how to splice lines using a doubled line and Yucatan knot technique. We'll be going over the spider hitch and the bimini twist. These are both two extremely strong knots. They're used to double up your line, basically make a very large loop in the end of your line, to which we will tie the Yucatan knot. The Yucatan knot is my personal favorite because it's extremely simple to tie and it's an extremely strong knot. Obviously you could use the doubled line to tie into a uni knot or a slim beauty or whatever you want to use. I just personally like the Yucatan knot just because it's extremely simple and it's extremely strong and it has an extremely small profile. The knot was actually designed for fishing heavy duty monofilament lines or leaders over braided line, and it was designed by a guy who makes a living fishing for billfish, marlin, sailfish, etc., swordfish. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the spider hitch. I like the spider hitch if I'm trying to tie a knot in a hurry, or if I'm tying it in the dark, because I could literally tie this knot behind my back if I really wanted to. It's extremely simple. There's really nothing to it. The bimini twist, on the other hand, again, I don't have any problem tying it, at least in braid. Braid is extremely easy to tie the bimini twist. Mono takes a little bit more effort, a little bit more care. But like I said, if I'm in a hurry, I will tie the spider hitch. Okay, so here we go with the spider hitch. What you're going to do is you're going to double over your line, create your little bunny ear like this. But you want to make sure you leave yourself plenty of room on this. And come all the way down to the end over here. Oops. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take your doubled line and you're going to do a reverse loop to where the side that faces the bunny ear loops behind where your tag end and your main line are. So you got this little back-sided reverse loop here, and you're just going to tuck that underneath your thumb like so. Next step you're going to do is you're going to take your bunny ear here, your loop, and you're going to slowly start wrapping this around your thumb. Now you want to take some care. You want to try to make sure that your wraps are uniform and straight and flat along the thumb. You don't want them crossing over each other. 3, 4, and we'll do 5. There's 5. Okay, you notice how I'm gripping this with my index finger. All these wraps are gripped on there. But there you have your 5 wraps with a doubled line. You've got your loop that you made here. Now you're going to take the end of your bunny ear and you're going to insert it through the loop. So essentially the rabbit is going down the hole here. So through the loop, you're going to pull your bunny ear out, and now you're going to slowly start pulling on your bunny ear to where these wraps unravel off of your thumb. 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. There is your loose spider hitch. Okay, so next step, I'm going to take the bunny ear and the main line and tag end sections, and we're going to pull from both sides, nice and slow, steady pressure. I'm going to hold over here, I'm going to pull on my main line a bit. to pull on my tag end a bit. And what I'm trying to do here is make sure this knot tightens down uniformly. And there you go. There is your spider hitch. Let's see if we can get a good image of that. I could probably get that just a little bit tighter, but you see how nice and neat and even that is? That's exactly how you want this knot to look when it comes out. You want everything to be nice and smooth, flat, no crossing over if possible, but that is your spider hitch. Extremely strong knot, fairly quick to tie. If I wasn't trying to videotape this, I could usually tie it quite a bit faster than that. But as you can see here, I've got a double line loop that creates, it's a fairly long loop. This loop is about 16 to 18 inches long. And I'm going to show you the bimini twist first, but then your Yucatan knot would attach down here at the end of this loop. So you would have your leader over here, you got your double line section there, you have your knot, and then you have your main line. And you would want to go through, just like with every other knot, and you want to trim off the tag in like so. And there you go. Again, that is the Yucatan knot. Or excuse me, this is the spider hitch. My apologies. And there you go. Alright y'all, so we're going to go ahead and move on to tying the bimini twist. Please bear with me while I'm doing this knot. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to film and tie at the same time. I'm going to do my best to make sure you can see everything that's going on and make sure everything's visible to you. But just please excuse any shakiness or wobbliness with this filming of this knot. Okay, as you can see in front of me, I have a fishing pole here. I've got my reel over here, rod tips back that way, and my line is going from the reel through the guides and out the tip of the rod. This is a little trick for tying this knot. It helps you maintain tension throughout the time that you're tying it, and that tension makes tying this knot a lot easier. Normally I would tie this on the rod that I'm going to be fishing with. However, I went ahead and just grabbed this little telescopic fishing pole specifically for this episode. That way you are able to see this trick here, and hopefully it will help you out as much as it has helped me when it comes to tying this knot. Alright, so as I mentioned before, the line comes out of the reel, goes through the guides of the rod and out the tip, and then it comes back and I have the tag end here. Now, I'm tying this in 30-pound braid. What you're going to do, you're going to double your line over like I have here. I've got the loop on this end here, and the tag end comes back out this way. Now in braid, normally I would do 30 to 40 twists with this. For this, I'm just going to do 25 for this tutorial here. In mono, I usually do about 30, 25 to 30, depending on the diameter of the mono. If I'm doing 50-pound mono, I'll probably just do 20. Typically, I tie this in 20-pound mono, so I do about 30 wraps, but we're going to go ahead and do 25 here. So 1, 2, Okay, so I've got my loop end over here. I've got my twists going down that way to my main line and tag end. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loop this loop over the side of my reel, just like this. Okay, so now my loop is going over the side of my reel. Got my drag tightened down all the way, and I'm going to reel, causing the end of this rod to bend and tension to be put in the line. I'm going to go ahead and back this back up. So now I've got my tag end over here. Pull it into frame. Got my tag end here. I've got my loop over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the tag end at a 90-degree angle to my main line, and I'm going to insert my finger into this loop. Now I'm going to take my finger, I'm going to slowly work it, push it towards the 90-degree angle that I have formed over here. Let me see if I can get you a little closer view of this so you can see exactly what's going on. Again, I'm sorry for the bumpiness and shakiness here. Alright. Let's see. Now like I said, I'm going to put my finger through this loop and I'm going to work it towards the 90-degree angle. And as you're going to see, these wraps are going to tighten up, just like this. And I'm continuing to hold this 90-degree angle here. And I'm just going to continue to work my finger up towards this 90. And as you saw right there, now where I'm holding the 90-degree angle, the line is going to want to work itself back over the wraps and start wrapping in the other direction. What you want to do is make sure you maintain that 90, and you want to make sure those wraps sit up next to each other. You don't want them just coming, if you pull this direction, they will, the wraps will be too loose. You pull this direction, they won't want to wrap over as well. So you want to make sure you maintain that 90, and I am giving it a little bit of slack in my tag in here to make sure that it can go ahead and pull the line off to make those 90 degrees. Okay, and you're going to work it till it meets all the way up with your finger there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch this with my thumb and my forefinger. I'm going to go ahead and back up here. So I'm still pinching this right here with my thumb and my forefinger. Now I'm going to take my tag end, and this might be a little bit difficult for you to see. What I'm going to do, I'm going to switch hands here. Okay, I'm still pinching my knot, and I'm going to keep this open with this finger. I'm going to take my tag end, and I'm going to create a half hitch around what we're going to call the leg of the loop here. So this is one leg, this is the other leg. I'm going to take, and I'm going to create a half hitch just by wrapping. I went around down here, and then I'm going to insert the tag end between that loop and this leg of the knot. And what this is going to do, pull this all the way out. I'm going to cinch this down like so, all the way down to where it meets up with my wraps, just like that. You see, I've got my main line here, I've got my wraps right there, I've got leg 1 and 2 of my loop, and I've got where I did that half hitch just there, and it meets down. Now this knot is holding. That's what the point of this half hitch is to hold that knot in place. Now these guys won't come unraveled. Now, there's a ton of different ways to finish this knot. I'm going to show you my personal favorite. So we did the one half hitch around that leg. Now I'm going to do a half hitch around the other leg. So again, I'm just bringing my tag in down here, and it's going to go around the leg, and it's going to come out through the loop here. Again, I hope you're able to understand and see what I'm doing here. So we're going to go ahead and got that half hitch there. And again, this is the opposite leg that I did the first one on. So now I've got two side-by-side half hitches holding my wraps together. So I've got a half hitch on this leg, I've got a half hitch on this leg, and it's holding my wraps together. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tag end and I'm going to wrap it around both legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I went around and down here to the end, and I did 5 wraps around both legs of the loop here. Make sure so you can see all my wraps right there. Those all go around both legs. Now I'm going to take the tag end and I'm going to insert it between the two legs, just like that. Pull it through. And now, holding this here with my finger, I'm going to pull on my tag end. And this is going to tighten down all of those wraps to my knot there. I'm just going to kind of pull, maintain pressure, just so let me see if I can get you a little bit closer here. Just so those wraps stay nice and straight. And I'm going to go ahead and continue pulling this down. I want all these wraps to stay straight on here. I don't want any of them crossing over each other. And then I'm going to pull, tighten all of that down, just like that. So now you can see Alright, so as you can see here, I've got my main line over here. I've got both legs of my loop down over here. I've got the wraps we initially made. I've got the 2 half hitches on one on each leg in the middle, and then I've got those wraps that go around here. And the half hitches and those wraps are only there to make sure that these wraps here, the wraps going this way and doubling back this direction, stay wrapped and stay in place. That's one of the things about this knot, is it's actually not truly a knot. It is just a series of wraps, and that's part of the reason for the strength of this knot, the reason why it's 100% knot, because it doesn't actually bind off on itself. It can't cut itself because it's not, or it can't cinch down on itself and cut itself because it's not truly knotted. It's just wrapped over, and those are just there to hold it in place. So we're going to go ahead and trim off my tag end here. And there you have your finished bimini twist. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and back up again. Now that we have the loop done, I'll go ahead and remove it from the rod. I've got my knot here. I've got my loop, my doubled lines. Comes out to my little bunny ear on this side. I'm going to go ahead and get this rod out of my way. And now I'm going to teach you the Yucatan knot. You've got your bimini twist here. You've got your main line with the knot here and your doubled line here ending in your little loop. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this loop, we're going to take our monofilament, I'm going to go ahead and use 40-pound mono, and I'm going to wrap the braid loop around the mono. I'm going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to go ahead and take our mono tag end and we're going to insert it through the loop here, just like that. So now we're going to go ahead and pull on the braid, on the standing end of the braid, and it's going to tighten down just like that. See if I can get you. You get your doubled line here, wraps around there, and this last little loop here goes around the tag end of your mono. I'm going to go ahead and wet this knot. And now what you're going to do is you're going to pull on both ends. You're going to pull on both the mono and the braid, but you're going to leave the tag end of the mono untouched. You're not going to pull on it. You're just going to pull on both the standing mono and the standing braid. You want to pull it down nice and tight until all of your wraps cinch down together. And you'll know you've done it right when your tag end of your mono sticks out at a 90-degree angle from your knot. And as you can see here, the wraps have all seated down next to each other. Nice and uniform. And like I said, you know this knot has been tied correctly if your tag end stands at a 90-degree angle from your knot. As with every knot, we'll go through and we will trim off the tag end. And there you have it. That is the Yucatan knot. You can see why I love this knot for tying on shock leaders. It's extremely small, even when I'm using 30-pound braid and 50-pound mono. It's just an extremely small knot. You don't even feel this knot going through the guides. very small. I have never seen one of these knots fail when tied properly, and as you saw, it is super easy. So it's very hard to tie this knot incorrectly. The only time you might tie it incorrectly is if you don't snug it down tight enough. But it's an outstanding knot. But there you have it. We went over the spider hitch and the bimini twist, and then the Yucatan knot. The Yucatan knot can be tied with either the bimini or the spider hitch. But that is my personal favorite way of splicing lines of two different diameters, especially like for surf fishing. I use this exact setup for my tying on my shock leaders when I'm surf fishing. If you are land-based shark fishing or offshore fishing and you want to put a braid backing underneath your mono, this is the perfect setup because you're using these extremely strong knots. These knots won't slip. These knots won't break unless you tie them incorrectly. They're just extremely strong knots. They work great. Again, you've got your single main line to the bimini twist or spider hitch knot. It creates the doubled line loop here, and then you attach that to your thicker diameter line with the Yucatan knot. See if it focuses for you. And then your thicker monofilament line would go down to your lure or swivel to your leader or whatever you're using. I hope you found this interesting. Again, my username is Cowboy713 on FishingCrew. And as always, if there's any knots that you'd like to see me tie that I haven't done yet, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to drop me a line in the comments below or hit me up on FishingCrew. Hope to catch y'all next time, and have a great night.